Coming up on Mountain News this morning, as the nation mourns Jimmy Carter, one presidential expert recalls their trip to visit the former president. And soon, Kentuckians who want medical cannabis will have to choose between the drug or owning a firearm.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Madison Carmouche. We are inching up to that 5 o'clock mark and today is December 31st, 2024. Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it is the last day of 2024 and the weather is, it's kind of wintry out there a little bit.
I feel like it's like morning 2024. It's getting ready. It's rainy.
Yeah.
It's gonna issue in the new year off to a cold foot, unfortunately. But there is something I want you to know as you're heading out the door. We are under a wind advisory this morning. Take a look on your screen. All of the counties lit up in gold are under this wind advisory from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. with the exception of Campbell, Claiborne, Lee, and Wise counties, which are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now you could see higher sustained winds from 10 to 25 miles an hour and even higher gusts, with some places seeing up to 45 miles an hour. So just something to be on your radar this morning. Now, those current temperatures across the U.S., well, as you can see, we're on the warmer side of things. We're at 46 degrees, but you see that 28 as you're heading towards Bismarck. Well, those colder temperatures are heading towards us, unfortunately, as we're going into the new year. Here are those current temperatures as you're heading out the door. We are in around the 40s, some places a little bit warmer than others, 57 in Somerset. And as you're going towards Jonesville, 36. And we're only going to see those temperatures stay about the same and then decrease as you're going into tomorrow. And we do have some rain that is moving on satellite and radar right now and through our area throughout the day. Madison.
All right, Megan, thank you. A Whitley County teen who calls himself a presidential expert remembers the many times he and his family traveled down to Plains, Georgia to visit President Carter. WYMT's Phil Pendleton and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw share his experiences.
Look at his suit, and as they say, these colors don't run. 14-year-old Reed Elliott runs toward his passion, all things presidential, and one of his favorite commanders-in-chief, President Carter.
His Christian values, his hard work, his love for the American people, and especially with Habitat for Humanity.
The background in this video says it all. They are presents from the last two Christmases and another gift this year.
A Jimmy Carter watch. It has President Jimmy Carter on there, and it says, "From Peanuts to President."
This Corbin middle schooler adores the 39th president, so much so that in 2019, he and his family went to Plains, Georgia, and spent the night in the parking lot of the church where President Carter held Sunday school. Spending the night there ensured that he'd have a seat and have his chance to meet Mr. Carter.
It was such an honor, and it was so wonderful because I looked up to him. And
back in October, the 14-year-old visited Mr. Carter on his 100th birthday.
And that was a real honor to go to his personal birthday party.
And a few weeks ago, Elliott went back to Georgia and performed a musical concert for the president.
Now knowing that he passed a week later, it just means a lot that I got to perform at his church.
For Elliott, the loss is starting to sink in now that Mr. Carter is no longer here.
It was real hard, but while we're grieving down here, he's celebrating up there because he is in heaven with Rosalind and all of his family members that's gone before him.
In Lexington, with photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Elliott is reading a book right now on President Carter entitled "Why Not the Best?" Tonight, medical cannabis becomes legal in the Commonwealth, but before patient sign-up begins, you need to know how treatment could take away your Second Amendment rights. The ATF confirmed to WKYT yesterday that it is illegal for medical cannabis users to own guns. An agent referenced two federal laws on marijuana and firearms. Neither has an exception for medicinal purposes. Matthew Bratcher with cannabis advocacy group Kentucky Normal says that could soon change. He says courts in two states called the laws unconstitutional. Until the Supreme Court weighs in, he recommends Kentucky patients take precautions.
talk to an attorney that specializes in firearms law that could help lay a path down. There may be an option to transfer to someone else, transfer the ownership of those weapons for a time to someone else to hold them.
Gun sellers can also face charges for knowingly selling to cannabis users. And ahead of the new year, police are stepping up patrols in an effort to stop people from driving under the influence. The Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign runs through New Year's Day. You can expect to see extra police patrols out on the roads. State transportation officials say last year there were more than 4,000 crashes due to impaired driving and more than 2,000 injuries. One southeastern Kentucky city has found its next mayor. In a special called city council meeting, Sean Fugit II was sworn in as the next mayor for the city of Pineville. Fugit is succeeding Scott Maiden, who won a special write-in election to become state senator of the 29th district following the death of Senator Johnny Turner. And as the new year approaches tonight, folks are making plans to celebrate with friends and family. There are sure to be lots of crowds, parties, and excitement for the year ahead. But with the festivities comes an important reminder to stay safe, especially on the roads. Representative for AAA, Lori Weaver Hawkins, says they are doubling down on reminding folks to avoid impaired driving by having a plan on how to get home safe before you head out the door.
Whether that's a designated driver, lining up a ride share, or being able to stay at the host of the party, stay at their home. Just have that plan in place before you head out while you're thinking clearly. We don't want anybody getting on the road impaired.
Hawkins says you should not plan to just walk either, as walking impaired is also dangerous. She says at the end of the day, the best option is to have a sober driver. Officials in one southern Kentucky city are getting ready for the ball to drop to ring in 2025. Officials with the city of Somerset are hosting their Light Up 2025 Bash today. The event will have food, trucks, live music, a dance party, and more. The festival begins at 7 p.m. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we return, Jimmy Carter is known for peanut farming, but for some people, he's the reason why we're able to follow our dreams of creating craft beer.
Rain, snow, and everything in between is in the forecast this weekend. I'll tell you more coming up.